Life has a funny way of teaching us lessons. Some people call it experience, others call it failure, but really, it's wisdom waiting to be discovered. And wisdom is not just knowing, it's applying what you know in a way that changes how you live. If you want to change your life, the very first place to start is with the way you think. Because thoughts are seeds, and everything grows from a seed. Plant weeds, and you'll get a garden of trouble. Plant discipline, plant vision, plant responsibility, and you'll harvest success. Here's the truth: nothing changes until you do. You can wait for the government, the economy, or your boss to change. But if you're still the same, your results will stay the same. The secret is not to wish things were easier, but to wish you were better. Not to hope for fewer problems, but to develop more wisdom. Because problems will come, wisdom is what makes you strong enough to handle them. Now, here's a piece of wisdom that can change everything. Success is not something you chase, it's something you attract. You don't run after it like a rabbit. You become the kind of person success wants to be around. Develop your character, strengthen your habits, sharpen your mind, and success comes knocking. Another principle is the power of associations. Who you spend time with matters. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you'll find yourself complaining. If you walk with those who dream big, who discipline themselves, who chase growth, you'll rise to their level. The company you keep shapes the person you become. Wisdom also teaches us the value of time. A day wasted is a day you can never get back. But a day invested, a day where you read, learn, build, connect, create, that day compounds into a future you'll be proud of. Small disciplines practiced daily create a mountain of success over years. Don't underestimate the power of consistency. And perhaps the greatest wisdom is this: live with purpose. Don't just get up, go to work, come home, and repeat. Ask yourself, why am I here? What do I want my life to stand for? If you live by purpose, you'll have direction. If you live without it, you'll drift wherever the wind blows. So here's the challenge: change the way you think, and you'll change the way you live. Think growth, and you'll grow. Think discipline, and you'll achieve. Think purpose, and you'll live a life that matters. Wisdom is not hidden. It's all around you, in books, in mentors, in your own experiences. The key is to listen, to learn, and to act. And if you do, you won't just change what you know, you'll change who you are. Every result in life begins with a thought. Long before a building rises, someone first saw it in their mind. Long before a business existed, someone imagined what it could become. Long before a success story unfolded, it was written in the invisible ink of thought. Thoughts are the seeds, and everything you experience, your achievements, your struggles, your joy, your failures, are simply the harvest of what you have allowed to grow in your mind. If you want to change the harvest, you must first change the seed. Most people underestimate the power of their thinking. They believe circumstances are what shape life. But the truth is, circumstances only reveal what is already within. Two people can face the same challenge and come out with completely different results, not because the problem was different, but because their thinking was different. One says, "This is the end," while the other says, "This is a lesson." One gives up, the other grows up. Your mind interprets everything you go through, and that interpretation becomes your reality. When you think negative thoughts, you weaken your ability to act with courage. A person who constantly thinks, "I can't do it, I'm not good enough, it's too late," has already lost before they even begin. On the other hand, the one who fills their mind with possibility, discipline, and vision opens the door for action and growth. It's not that positive thinking magically solves every problem. It's that positive thinking positions you to act with strength, while negative thinking paralyzes you. Consider how thoughts affect even small areas of life. If you think of exercise as painful, you will avoid it. If you think of it as an investment in your health, you will make time for it. If you think reading is boring, you'll neglect it and stay the same. If you think reading is a doorway to wisdom, you'll open new chapters of growth. The task doesn't change, but the thought changes how you relate to it. That's why two people with the same 24 hours live entirely different lives, because their thoughts give different meaning to the same opportunities. The great challenge is that thoughts are invisible, silent, and constant. You can't switch them off, but you can guide them. Left unchecked, your mind can become a garden full of weeds, doubt, fear, envy, and regret. But with discipline, you can plant seeds of faith, courage, gratitude, and vision. Just as a farmer cannot expect a harvest without planting deliberately, you cannot expect success while allowing random, negative, or lazy thoughts to dominate. To change your thinking, you must become intentional. One of the most powerful ways to guide your thoughts is through what you feed your mind. What you read, what you watch, who you listen to. These shape your internal dialogue. If you surround yourself with people who complain, soon you'll find yourself echoing their words. If you read books filled with wisdom, your thoughts will rise to match. The quality of your thinking is a reflection of the quality of your input. That is why successful people are often careful and selective about what they consume mentally. Another key is to practice self-awareness. Catch yourself when you think small, when you say, "I can't," or "I'll never." Pause and challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just fear talking? Replace it with a stronger thought. Instead of saying, "This is impossible," shift to, "This is difficult, but possible with effort." Instead of saying, "I've failed," shift to, "I've learned." These small shifts in language reshape the story you tell yourself, and that story will either chain you down or lift you up. The truth is, every achievement is built twice. First in the mind, then in the world. The athlete wins in thought before stepping onto the field. The entrepreneur succeeds in vision before opening the doors. The leader inspires themselves before they inspire others. That is why changing your thoughts is not optional if you want to change your life. Life follows the direction of the mind, like a shadow follows the body. If you want to shape a better future, start by shaping better thoughts today. Every time you choose faith over fear, growth over comfort, gratitude over complaint, you strengthen the foundation of the life you're building. Thoughts are small, but their impact is vast. They are the starting point of everything. Guard them, guide them, and grow them carefully, because in the end, your life will always move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Life will always present circumstances that you cannot fully control. The weather will change, the economy will shift, companies will rise and fall, people will make decisions that affect you, and unexpected challenges will appear. Many people spend their entire lives wishing these circumstances were different. They hope for a smooth road, for fewer obstacles, for a life without storms. But wisdom teaches that the key to success is not in hoping the wind will stop blowing. It is in learning to adjust the sails. The real measure of life is not in what happens to you, but in how much you grow in response to it. When you focus on circumstances, you give away your power. You become a victim of every setback, every change, every piece of bad news. But when you focus on growth, you take that power back. You may not control the storm, but you can control your strength. You may not control the economy, but you can control your skills. You may not control the decisions of others, but you can control your attitude, your response, and your discipline. Growth turns obstacles into training grounds instead of prisons. Think of a tree. If the soil is dry, the tree sends its roots deeper to find water. If the winds are strong, the tree grows tougher, more flexible branches. The tree doesn't waste time complaining about the weather. It adapts, it grows, it strengthens. That is the mindset of growth over circumstances. You don't wait for life to get easier. You become better equipped to face it. You don't wish away the challenge. You use it as fuel to grow into the kind of person who can handle it. Growth means developing the habits, skills, and resilience that prepare you for the unexpected. If you're waiting for the perfect environment, you'll wait forever. The truth is, the environment will rarely be perfect. If you train yourself, sharpen your mind, and discipline your actions, you create the ability to thrive in any environment. Success is not guaranteed by calm conditions. It's built by strong character. Circumstances may limit opportunities, but personal growth creates new ones. Consider how many people have started with very little and gone on to achieve extraordinary things. They didn't wait for better circumstances. They worked on themselves until they became capable of creating better circumstances. The common thread in all great stories of success is not that the path was easy, but that the individual grew strong enough, skilled enough, and wise enough to overcome the difficulties. Focusing on growth means asking the right questions when life becomes difficult. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn here?" Instead of asking, "When will this be over?" ask, "How can I use this to grow?" That shift in perspective transforms every challenge into a classroom. Each obstacle becomes a lesson, each setback a test of character, each hardship an opportunity to expand your capacity. Circumstances are temporary, but growth is permanent. A storm may last a season, but what you gain by becoming stronger will serve you for a lifetime. The job you lose today may sting, but the skills you develop in the process may lead to even greater opportunities tomorrow. The disappointment you face may hurt, but the resilience you build will prepare you for victories you cannot yet see. The greatest mistake is to wait for everything to align perfectly before moving forward. If you keep waiting for the right time, the right environment, the right conditions, you'll never begin. Growth is about moving forward despite imperfection. It is about saying, even if the circumstances aren't ideal, I can still learn, still improve, still prepare myself. Life doesn't reward those who wait for conditions to be easy. It rewards those who grow strong enough to handle them as they are. Ultimately, circumstances are the test, but growth is the answer. Every time you choose to develop yourself, instead of blaming the environment, you build the kind of character that can rise above the storm. Every time you take responsibility for your response, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. Every time you decide to learn rather than complain, you step closer to mastery. Growth doesn't make life easier, but it makes you better. And when you are better, life's difficulties lose their power to control you. Success is not something you run after like a prize at the end of a race. If you chase it desperately, it always seems to run faster than you. But if you focus on becoming the kind of person success wants to be around, it will come to you naturally. Think of success not as a destination to pursue, but as a guest you invite into your life. The question is not, how do I chase it? But how do I become the kind of person success would be drawn to? People often spend years chasing quick results, shortcuts, or easy victories, only to find themselves back where they started. They chase money but lack the discipline to manage it. They chase recognition but don't build the character to sustain it. They chase opportunities but don't prepare themselves to take advantage of them. The truth is that success does not stay with someone who has not prepared for it. It may come for a moment, but without the right foundation, it slips away. Attraction works differently. Attraction begins with personal development. When you grow in discipline, develop skills, cultivate good habits, and strengthen your mindset, you create an energy that draws success toward you. It is like a magnet. People who work on themselves attract opportunities, relationships, and resources because they stand out as ready, capable, and trustworthy. Success is always searching for a home, and it chooses the people who are prepared to handle it. Think of someone who constantly improves themselves. They invest time in learning, reading, and gaining knowledge. They practice discipline in their daily routines. They keep their word, show integrity, and follow through on commitments. Over time, these qualities create an aura of reliability. People notice. Opportunities notice. Success notices. They don't need to chase it, it finds them. On the other hand, the person who neglects self-growth, who cuts corners, who avoids responsibility, may run fast but will eventually fall behind. Success is also attracted to vision. People who know where they are going tend to pull opportunities in their direction. When you have clarity about your goals, you walk with a sense of purpose. Others feel it. They trust it. Doors open because people want to be part of a mission that is clear and inspiring. Success does not come to those who wander without direction. It comes to those who set their sights on something meaningful and commit to it. Another part of attraction is consistency. You don't become magnetic overnight. Just as a magnet takes time to form, success is drawn slowly to those who build a track record of effort. Daily discipline, showing up, putting in the work, sticking to principles, creates the reputation and credibility that success respects. Consistency says, I am serious, I am ready, and I can be trusted. Success loves consistency more than bursts of energy. Character also plays a vital role. Success is not fooled by appearances. You might impress for a moment with charm or talent, but true, lasting success is drawn to honesty, humility, and integrity. When you build your character, you build trust, and trust is the currency that unlocks greater opportunities. Many people have lost success because their character could not support their achievements. It's not enough to chase. You must become the kind of person who deserves what you are seeking. So the real path is inward. Success is not something external to run after. It is something internal that you develop until it naturally finds you. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Become valuable by learning skills, practicing discipline, and living with integrity. When you become more, you attract more. It is a simple but powerful law to have more. You must first become more. Once you understand this, the chase ends. You no longer waste energy running after things. Instead, you pour your energy into growth, and in time, the right opportunities, the right people, and the right results begin to appear. Success is not an accident. It is the natural outcome of the person you choose to become. The people you spend the most time with shape who you become. Human beings are influenced creatures. We like to think of ourselves as independent, making our own choices, but in reality, much of our thinking, our habits, even our beliefs are absorbed from those around us. If you surround yourself with people who complain all the time, it won't be long before you find yourself echoing their words. If you walk with people who dream big, who discipline themselves, who live with purpose, you will naturally begin to rise to their level. Associations are not just casual connections. They are forces that shape your direction. Every friendship, every conversation, every influence either pulls you up or drags you down. It is rarely neutral. Some people bring out your best, challenge you to think bigger, and encourage you to take action. Others encourage laziness, mediocrity, and excuses. The critical question to ask is, who am I becoming because of the people I spend time with? Because you will eventually become like the company you keep. Attitudes are contagious, and so are standards. If your closest friends treat success as impossible, chances are you will lower your own expectations. If they treat growth as unnecessary, you'll stop pushing yourself. But if they treat discipline as normal, ambition as natural, and excellence as the standard, you'll begin to adapt to those expectations. Humans are wired to fit into the environment around them. The key is to choose an environment that forces you upward rather than one that drags you down. Sometimes it requires tough decisions. There may be people you've known for years who are comfortable in negativity, who prefer gossip to growth, who talk more about problems than solutions. If you spend too much time with them, you risk becoming like them. It doesn't mean you stop caring for them, but it does mean you must protect your future by limiting their influence. On the other hand, when you intentionally seek out mentors, leaders, and friends who embody the qualities you admire, you place yourself in the flow of inspiration and learning. Consider how much easier it is to grow when surrounded by the right associations. If you are around people who read, you will read more. If you are around people who value health, you will take your health more seriously. If you are around people who take risks, you'll be inspired to step out of your comfort zone. Growth becomes natural when your environment makes it normal. Success becomes more attainable when your peers are striving for it too. One of the greatest secrets of progress is proximity. Being close to people who have already achieved what you're aiming for gives you perspective, guidance, and belief. Their mindset rubs off on you. Their standards become your standards. You begin to think in terms of possibility instead of limitation. The old saying is true: if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Seek rooms that challenge you, stretch you, and inspire you. Associations also provide accountability. Alone, it is easy to quit, to give up on commitments, to fall back into old habits. But with the right group, quitting becomes harder. Others expect more of you. They remind you of your potential. They encourage you when you feel discouraged, and they celebrate your wins. This kind of accountability is one of the strongest forces for sustaining discipline. Your future is not just built by your personal effort, it is shaped by the collective influence of those you allow closest to you. Choose wisely. Every conversation is planting something into your mind. Every environment is shaping your expectations. Every friendship is a mirror of your future self. If you want to live at a higher level, spend more time with people already living there. If you want to think bigger, surround yourself with those who think beyond limitations. Associations matter because they are the invisible architects of your destiny. Time is the most valuable resource you will ever have. Unlike money, once it is gone, you cannot earn it back. Unlike opportunities, once a day passes, it never returns. Every person, no matter where they are born, how much wealth they have, or what position they hold, is given the same 24 hours each day. What separates success from failure, growth from stagnation, is how those hours are used. The wise understand this truth and treat time as an investment. The unwise spend it carelessly and wonder why their lives do not move forward. Consistency is the partner of time. A single day of effort rarely creates visible results, but repeated effort, applied daily, compounds into something extraordinary. Think of water dripping on a stone. One drop alone changes nothing, but thousands of drops over time carve into rock. That is the power of consistent discipline. Small actions, done repeatedly, shape the course of your future. The mistake many people make is underestimating the value of small daily disciplines. They believe success is built on one grand action, but in reality, it is the product of hundreds of simple choices repeated day after day. Time is also a test of priorities. How you spend your hours reveals what you truly value. If you say health is important, but never invest time in exercise, your actions tell the truth. If you say personal growth matters, but never read or learn, your schedule proves otherwise. Success demands that you align your time with your values. Each day, you are either moving closer to your goals or drifting further away. The question is not whether you are busy. The question is whether you are busy doing the right things. One of the greatest traps people fall into is waiting for the right time. They tell themselves they will start when life calms down, when conditions improve, or when they feel ready. The problem is that perfect time never arrives. The best time to begin is always now. 5 minutes of action today is worth more than hours of intention tomorrow. The clock is always ticking, And waiting wastes the very resource that could move you forward. Consistency requires discipline, and discipline requires vision. Without a clear reason why, routines become burdensome. But when you connect daily actions to a greater purpose, consistency becomes easier to maintain. The student studies every day not because studying is exciting, but because the vision of success makes the discipline meaningful. The athlete trains in the early morning, not because it feels comfortable, but because the dream of victory makes the sacrifice worthwhile. When your why is strong, your consistency grows firm. Time and consistency also compound. A person who spends 10 minutes reading daily may not notice much difference in a week, but in a year, that is 60 hours of learning. Someone who saves a small amount of money each month may not feel wealthier immediately, but in a decade, that habit builds financial freedom. Success is rarely the result of intensity. It is almost always the result of persistence. The power lies not in doing a lot once, but in doing a little regularly. The challenge is that results do not appear overnight. That is why so many people quit before they see progress. They expect instant outcomes, and when they do not arrive, they assume the effort is wasted. But the truth is, time hides the results until the harvest is ready. Seeds planted today do not sprout tomorrow, but given enough time and consistent care, they become trees. If you can trust the process and remain consistent, the results will inevitably follow. Every wasted hour is an opportunity lost forever, but every invested hour compounds into a future you will thank yourself for. The person who uses time well, with consistency, is unstoppable. They may not see dramatic change immediately, but over years, their discipline builds a life that seems extraordinary to others. Yet to them, it was simply the accumulation of small, consistent choices with their time. Time is the canvas, consistency is the brush, and together they paint the masterpiece of your life. Life without purpose is like a ship without a compass, moving, but without direction. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and suddenly years pass with little to show. Not because effort wasn't made, but because effort wasn't focused. Purpose gives meaning to time, clarity to choices, and strength to endure challenges. Without it, even great opportunities feel empty. With it, even the smallest task feels significant. Purpose is not something you stumble upon by accident. It is something you decide, something you cultivate, and something you live by. Many people drift through life reacting instead of directing. They wake up, go to work, return home, and repeat the same cycle without asking deeper questions. Why am I here? What do I want my life to stand for? What legacy am I building? Purpose begins with those questions. It requires you to look beyond survival and comfort, to think about impact, contribution, and fulfillment. A paycheck may pay the bills, but purpose is what makes the work worthwhile. Comfort may ease today, but purpose is what drives you to build tomorrow. Living with purpose is not about grand achievements alone. It is about aligning daily actions with deeper meaning. A parent raising children with love and discipline is living with purpose. A teacher pouring wisdom into young minds is living with purpose. An entrepreneur creating solutions that improve lives is living with purpose. It is not the size of the role that matters, but the clarity of the reason behind it. When you know why you are doing something, you bring energy, passion, and persistence into it. Purpose also brings resilience. Life will present difficulties, setbacks, and disappointments. Without purpose, these obstacles feel like dead ends. With purpose, they become detours, lessons, and stepping stones. The person who knows their why can endure almost any how. When you are clear about your reason, discouragement loses its grip because you see beyond the temporary pain to the bigger picture you are building. Purpose turns struggle into fuel and obstacles into part of the journey. Another power of purpose is focus. The world is full of distractions, opportunities, and endless paths. Without purpose, it is easy to scatter your energy in every direction and achieve little. With purpose, you have a filter. You can say no to what doesn't align and yes to what does. Focus is not just about discipline, it is about direction. Purpose gives that direction. It allows you to concentrate your energy on what truly matters, making your efforts far more effective. Purpose also connects you to others. People are drawn to those who live with conviction and clarity. A clear purpose inspires trust, loyalty, and support. It unites people under a shared vision. Leaders who live with purpose inspire movements. Families who live with purpose create lasting legacies. Communities that live with purpose bring transformation. Purpose is contagious. It spreads from one life to another, creating waves of impact. Living with purpose requires reflection and intentionality. You must pause to ask what truly matters to you, what values guide you, and what contribution you want to make. Without reflection, it is easy to live someone else's life, following paths laid out by others instead of carving your own. Purpose demands that you take ownership of your life, that you choose deliberately rather than drift passively. In the end, purpose is not only about what you achieve, but about who you become. Achievements fade, possessions pass on, but the impact of a life lived with purpose endures. It is remembered in the lives you touched, the values you stood for, and the difference you made. Living with purpose transforms existence from routine into significance, from survival into contribution, from drifting into destiny. It ensures that when you look back, you see more than years, you see meaning.